What on earth are residencies and why are they important for you if you're looking to exit West? Hi guys, my name is Kurt Provost. Welcome to the channel. I'm going to run through very quickly what the different types of residency are and why they're important for you, because that's exactly what I'm going through right now. I find myself in the West. I'm looking to get out of it, or at least have a plan B of some sort, and residencies are very important if that is a similar goal for yourself. So whenever you travel to another country, I'm assuming you're in the West if you're watching this channel, we generally have very strong passports and we have a lot of visa-free agreements with countries. And what that means is we just book our tickets, book the hotel in another country, show up at the immigration desk, and they stamp us in, and they give us 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever it is for the country that we're going to. And that gives us the right to stay within that country for that period of time as a tourist, to travel around and enjoy ourselves. That is a luxury that many people in the world don't really have access to. They'll have to fill out a stack of papers just to get a visa to enter into a country before they can get anywhere close to booking a flight. So that's a luxury in the West. Now, what is residency? It is a step beyond a visa like that. You can get specific visas for extended periods of time. Residency, temporary residency, is the right to remain in another country for a certain period of time. Usually it's 1 to 2 years, although it can be 4 years plus. It really depends on the place that we're talking about. And temporary residency is exactly that. It's temporary. You'll have to renew it. It's not indefinite. And it allows you often to work or study. It allows you to remain within a place much longer than the normal visa period. And often, if you are staying there over the tax threshold time, because usually countries will decide whether or not you are a tax resident based on how long you're remaining in that country, then you'll be expected to pay taxes within that country as well. So all of that comes into play. You get, as a result of that, usually access to the medical system. You get access to the similar rights to a citizen of that country, with the exception that you usually can't vote. I mean, there are places in the world right now that seem to be bringing in large numbers of immigrants that for the purpose of voting, but that's a whole nother story. So usually you can't vote and you won't get a passport. You're not technically a citizen of that country. You're a guest that's been allowed to stay for a longer period of time than usual. Now, it is fantastic for people like myself who are exploring the options of where it is they would like to settle down somewhere else, or have a plan B, have a base on another part of this planet. And you can get a temporary residency in another country, and then that gives you the right to kind of explore that place and figure out if you want to really extend that stay and put your roots down. So that leads into, very often, a permanent residency. Now, permanent residencies are for usually an indefinite period of time. So you have the right to remain in that country for a very long period of time. And you can have, people can remain in a country on a permanent residency forever. They don't necessarily become citizens, although often it is a prerequisite to become a citizen. The pathway to becoming a citizen is you'll have to spend a certain amount of time as a permanent resident first. So if you're looking to gain citizenship in another country, then residency is the natural first step towards that. You've got temporary, and then you've got permanent, and then you've got citizenship in some instances. Not all countries of the world will allow that naturalization process. That's what it's called when you are you're gaining citizenship through residencies. Places like most of the Americas, Europe, some parts of Africa, they generally will allow dual citizenship, so you don't need to renounce your citizenship in order to gain another. You can have two or more, and that is very attractive in the multipolar world that we are entering into, or we find ourselves in today, because it allows you then to not be dictated to by the government that you happen to be born into and that you feel perhaps disconnected with. You can choose where you want to go and how you want to live. And I think that's really, really important, increasingly important in the world that we find ourselves in today. And that's largely what this channel is about. So what's the application process for getting residency? Well, it's different for every single country, but there's usually an income requirement of some sort. And this is why I believe that the most important thing today that we can be doing to improve our odds of not just surviving but thriving the very tumultuous time that we find ourselves in is to build a business, is to increase our income that is independent of the hours that we put in or the physical location that we go to. So generally something besides your job. So that's why I say business. However, you could get a job that is remote and that allows you to move overseas and continue to earn the income. That would be fantastic as well. Whatever it is, I would focus on that right now. However, if it's a low income that you have, that would dictate where in the world that you can focus on for residencies, because there are residencies out there that have very low income requirements. I would start with them, obviously. If the income isn't an issue for you, then you've got way more options. So you'll have to go to the website of the country that you're interested in and figure out what those requirements are. Now, here on this channel, I'm going to be doing that through a whole bunch of different residencies that I'm personally interested in. I'll share all that information. So hit the subscribe button and you'll get updated on each one of those residencies as I go through them for myself. So that's one kind of cheat way of following along. The other way is just doing the work of going through each individual website like I have been doing for about a year now to get familiar with the different policies and requirements. Then you gather all the documents that they require. There can be health checks, there can be police checks, there can be a whole bunch of different things. You'll need to get things translated. So there's a bit of a process, and then you need to submit those documents either within the country that you're in right now. Sometimes that's possible. You can just go to the embassy or the consulate and get that done, or you can go to the country and you have to submit it there. Now, either way, there's going to be some time and paperwork involved, and that's why a lot of people will employ lawyers or immigration agencies to assist them with that. Personally, I'm trying to do it on my own, but we will see how that goes. I think some countries you definitely just need help with that because it is so incredibly bureaucratic and difficult and complicated to do. And then once you gain residency, often it will be a stamp within your passport, like a sticker, visa sticker within your passport, or it could be its own independent ID card that will give you rights to reside within that country. And congratulations, you will then have a second home. You will have a base somewhere other than in the West that gives you your first step of freedom. And I think that is super exciting. Now, if citizenship is your goal, then that is the first step towards citizenship and you're moving on that way. You're going to be focusing on learning the language because that's usually a requirement if you want to gain citizenship in a country. Demonstrating that you have integrated within the society of that country or you have ties to that country, investments, real estate, workplaces, whatever it may be that ties you to that country, marriage, things like that will all assist you on that citizenship journey if that's your goal, and time as well. The only real shortcut around time is money. So the biggest thing that we can do right now today that will impact your future is to increase the amount of income that you have flowing in that is from an independent source. That is my number one priority, and I recommend it for anyone watching this who isn't already financially independent enough to choose whatever country you want. Alright guys, I hope that was helpful. I'm a new channel, so I greatly appreciate any thumbs up, comments, sharing, and hitting that subscribe button if you are wanting to follow along on this journey, and also exit west, because I don't believe there are any perfect places. However, I do believe that there could be somewhere that's perfect for you. So let's find it together.